Welcome to the channel. My name is Piotr Kowalczyk. Today's video is all related to the trim mode. Definition of the trim mode: save the song, recall the song, normalize the song, main function of the trim mode, paths function, trim mode pages, tune, and discard. These are the subjects of today's challenge. We present our trim mode through our own original music piece. We call it 100 Wishes, and it's related to 100 video, what we just released last week on our YouTube channel. A huge celebration for us. Very proud. Now, we are trimming that music as a preparation for the chap mode. Let's hear the tune first. Alright, so that's the music. Once we come up with something valuable and you think that's the direction of your travel, you want to save it. The way you save it, as a song, you hit Shift button, you hold it, and you press Song. Let me clear it. Now, this window kind of spills any available sequences in your project. You hit the sequence you want, and this time is just formed as the sequence we want, and you press Insert. In that insert, you've got the tempo, the amount of bars, and the amount of repetition. We want to change that repetition to 4 loops, okay, and hit Export. In this window, you're going to select which file format you want. The bit depth, the sample rates, the start, the ending point, so on. The output. Export. Let's just do 100 Wishes by Royal Composer, RC. Do it. Save. Okay? So now, we have a desire to chop that music through the sample edit. So what do? You hit the browser, My File. You search for this 100 Wishes RC. This is it. Load. Sample edit. Let's boost the recording by hitting Process, Function Edit, Normalize. Do it. Okay, so our optimal potential of this file shows up, and now we can work around it. Let's talk about what trim mode can do for us. Trim mode trims larger files of music for us, trims the beginning and trims the end. Trim mode include loop functions, which means we can loop certain area of the recording and then polish it into our liking. Also, it allows us to process that audio file In other words, prep work before chopping. It's that simple. So we are going to deliver a beautiful, a strong quality of the audio sample to do some additional work in the chop mode. In this trim mode, and we are in a trim mode because there's a trim in the lower left corner. It says trim. If I touch it again, it's gonna switch to chop. That's next video. Today, it's all about the trim mode. Trim mode allows me to find a region in the music what makes sense, what makes this sound or music special. So I'm gonna search for it. I want to include a specific amount of bars and beats. I'm using a Q-Link knobs to establish the starting point and establish the ending point. For the exercise purpose, this is the first, second, third, and fourth I can see from the waveform. So for the exercise purposes, we are going to select the very second one. That's lots of music. Smaller and tiny. About here. Okay. It's very beneficial to know path functions well. They will allow us to embrace our workflow and work much faster and in efficient fashion. Like Q-Link knobs, the pads in the trim mode, they play a very specific function. We are going to concentrate on the red buttons 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is extra one on top, which have exactly the same function what the first one does. It allows me to play that selected music area as long as I hold my finger on the pad. Okay, right next to it there is a pad what allows me to play a few seconds before the selected area. And this button stands for a few seconds after selected area. So we are going to play before and after. And after. Before. And it's gonna stop no matter if I hold or not. And after. Okay? And the one between stands for a few seconds of music before the end of my selected area. So now the beginning, the end, before, and after. Beautiful. Now let's concentrate on the last row, or first note, depending how you look at it, in orange. And this is fascinating. These buttons got exactly the same function what the red ones have, except I don't have to hold them at all. which very quickly became my favorite row to fool around with. From the start, so now I have to stop it before the selected area, after, and a few seconds of the end of the selected. And that's it. So look, before, after, few seconds before the end. Beautiful. The same functions. The third one, a row, allows me to play the entire sequence, what we generated from hard drive, from the beginning to end. The orange stands for playing the section we selected without holding. The red is gonna play the same section as long as I hold it. The last button on this row does absolutely nothing. Okay? And which brings us to this yellow line on top. What stands for looping and repetition. This one will loop that sequence over and over again as long as I hold it. The last one, the same function, but it reminds me of orange buttons. That I just touch it and I listen. I'm gonna stop it when I want to stop it. Okay? And for me, these two are kind of redundant because I play the stuff before as long as I hold it, and I play, you know, my section as long as I hold it. So kind of they repeat the same similar function of the previous buttons do. So now playing from the beginning, end of the selected, before and after. And for me, the most important is the loop in that upper right corner, and the rest of them kind of generate a similar result. Once I know them well, I can prep my I can be more precise with my work. The trim mode has 2 pages. The one you see here, and additional information with the second one. It includes the information of the starting point and the loop itself, the slice, tune, root node, beats per minute. Loop lock allows us to lock the loop where the sequence or starting point begins. Okay? When we unloop it, the loop becomes independent. Our loop function is gonna react or act upon our doing in 4 different modes. Forward, when the loop reaches the end point, it will start playing again from the loop point. Reverse, when the loop reaches its end point, it will play in reverse. When it reaches the loop point again, it will return to the end point and continue playing in reverse. Alternating. When the loop reaches its end point, it will play in reverse. When it reaches to the top point again, it will start playing forward again from the loop point. And of course we can switch between forward and off by pressing the shift button and then hitting that loop button on the screen. So this loop is gonna respond in a different way. It's gonna play to the end and start from that looping part. See, it was only possible because I pressed, once again, the looping button. See? So we can change it all the time. So you've got the idea. So this stuff was only possible because we decided to unlock the potential of the loop lock. All right. A link slice. When we slice music to pieces, it allows us to link them together. Also, we can keep them independent. So if you want to do that, you just unlink that slicing button and you should be all set. All right. This one. Here we go. On the first page, we have something called the BPM. The BPM, the computer detected the time signature of this tune and called it 6001. You can always detect the beats per minute by pressing detect, and it's gonna tell you exactly what you are dealing with. Also, you can change the key of this material. Let's go up. This tune thing influences the speed of the recording. So if I elevate the key, it elevates the tempo of that recording. So you have to be aware of this too. Before you say anything, quick note. We are moving our warp and time stretch subject to the separate video. We think that these subjects deserve to have a time on its own. We are going to address these topics little by little, step by step, so you have a total understanding as how they function on their own. The second page, what I have biggest problem with the second page when I want to roll back to my first page of the trim mode, this button sometimes doesn't work. I have to hit it and hit it and hit it, and eventually it's gonna respond to my touch, but it's a very rare thing that it goes there the first time I touch it. See, still nothing, still nothing. So I try different things, like, for example, change the key, change it back. There we go. All right. I would love to postpone that conversation. This topic deserves to have a separate time. So we are going to skip that for later. And now when we move forward, once we have that piece you wanted, you process this thing through discard. What the discard does, it's gonna delete, as you see. There's a trash can before selected area and after. So basically eliminates unnecessarily pieces of audio which we decided not to use. Beautiful. This should be enough. We already covered a program mode and now trim mode. Next time when we see each other, we are going to explore our chap mode. My name is Piotr Kowalczyk. See you next time.